Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am DM Bluddworth, and as you can see by the graphics, today is day 10 of RPG A Day 2021. This is also my last day of pre-recordings, so day 10, August 10th, I will be departing and returning home, and I will be back on, doing live videos on the 11th. So it's been a kind of a nice stretch of trying to get out these videos ahead of time and to string them along and spread them out over the next 7 or 8 days that I've done this. So thank you for sitting in. These have been intentionally short videos. That way, that way they're nice, easy bites for you to get. They've been scheduled for 3 p.m. Every day Eastern time, every day from, essentially August 1st through the 10th. So, and we're finishing off these pre-recordings with, probably the most important word that has come up so far, and that is the word trust. So, just like in everything, without trust, you have nothing. And what's going on at your role playing table relies a lot on trust. When you set up as a DM, when you set up your scheduled time, you're trusting that the players will get there on time and that they're getting there ready to play. When you set up that time, your players are trusting that you, the DM, will get there on time, and you will also be ready to play. So there's a mutual trust that you will observe everyone's time, and hopefully, you can all live up to that. Now, I'm not talking about the occasion when something comes up and you're going to run a little late. That is not a violation of trust. That's just something that happens from time to time. But everyone kind of trusts that you will be there ready to play. I think that's the key point. Trust comes into your players are going to trust that you know something about the rules of the game without having to break out a rule book and flip through the pages and look for it. So they are going to trust that you are somewhat prepared for today's adventure and not have to dig into too many rules, and they're going to trust that you will, if you do make a ruling on the spot, they're going to trust that your ruling is consistent, because that's really the most important thing, is that they can put their trust in that you will be consistent when you're making these rulings. That you won't have a rule that applies to one and not everybody else as well. So fairness, they're going to trust that you're going to be fair, and they're going to trust that your outcomes are, the outcomes are understandable. So there should be no mystery behind some kind of a major occurrence at your table. They should trust the dice rolls. All right, and in some cases, it's actually like when I have a really serious thing that could potentially happen. I will make my roll in front of the players. That way they can see it, and that's a reinforcement of the trust. Because if they see that you're willing to do that, and you do that, more often than not, especially for really important roles, then that helps to develop trust. In the virtual world, a lot of cases they see your dice rolls anyway when you're doing it on an automatic dice roller, whether it be on Roll20, or I guess Fantasy Grounds has it as well, and such. So a lot of times public dice rolling is trust. There's also trust that a DM has towards their players, or at least you should have for your players. I oftentimes tell my players, well, just roll up your character. Well, do you want to see my rolls? No, I don't have to see your rolls. I trust that you're going to um, roll up your character straight up, and then if you don't like how your character turned out, I've had the players come to me and say, "Listen, I'm 1 point short of playing a paladin. I really want to play a paladin." All right, that player could have just as easily said, "Oh, I got the score that I wanted to," but instead, my player came to me and said, "I really want to play a paladin, but I came 1 point short. What can I do in order to? Do I have to re-roll? Should I?" And I said, "Listen, just put the point in there. We'll come up with some way of figuring it out. Make it work. Maybe take a point away from someplace else." Or he actually came up with the idea of looking up just changing the age of the character, where he would pick up that bonus to that particular attribute, and then he'd be able to go forward with the character that he wanted to play. But and this was the first time that we're meeting each other. This was during a session 0, and he had a trust that he could come to me with that issue and we could work it out. All right. And now I can trust him, knowing that if he has an issue, rather than just doing it, he's going to feel comfortable enough to approach me and say, well, can we do this? Same group, different player, wanted to utilize the second edition rules for a thief's ability advancement. And so I said, sure, that's fine. It's gives a little bit more flexibility in how a thief develops over time, and it was certainly an improvement upon the static, um, a level 3 thief. All level 3 thieves in the entire world have the same pickpocketing ability, regardless of any desire to be a better pickpocket than something else. So it just gives more. So, but you have to have that trust with your players that they can approach you with suggestions about making the game that you're playing a little bit better. Um, and they have to trust that when you're making a decision, that you're making a decision for the best outcome of what's going on at your table. And so it's just really, really important that trust is mutual, and you should always begin with trust. And if that trust is lost, then that's a serious issue. And if you can no longer trust somebody at your table, whether it's in their behavior or in their interactions within the game system, if you lose that trust, then really, what's the point in either having that person there, or players will say, well, what's the point of me showing up to this game if I don't trust the DM to do the right thing? So once again, really, really important word, is trust. And, I'm glad to have finished up my pre-recorded RPG a days with such an important word. So once again, thanks for joining. Thank you very much for following along these last couple of days while these have been dropping automatically at 3 p.m. Eastern Time every day. I've been keeping them really short. And I'll probably still continue doing that, keeping them really short, because that's just a better way of doing it, I think. It's a much easier way to get through 31 days of videos if I'm keeping them 5 minutes, or roughly 5 minutes, or even less. So thanks for joining. Have a great day. I look forward to seeing you on the gaming screen sometime soon. Take care.